What's going on, Impact players? Let's just get right into it. I want to talk to you for a second about time. And this is critically important because the way I see it, when it comes to time, there's three things. We either spend it, we waste it, or we are robbed of it. And at the end of the day, or I should say at the end of the life of our life, each of us, we have 32,850 days from birth to 90 years old. What, you thought it was more than that? Surely, there has to be more. But no. There's 32,850 days from the time we are born to 90 years old. And that is assuming that we actually get there. That's assuming that we actually make it to 90 years old. So how do we, quote unquote, spend our time? How is it that time gets past us so much? We take some of the words of wise men and women throughout the past, and they had their thoughts on time. Like Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, he said that every second is of infinite value. And that's something to think about, since you can't get that time back. Surely we can take a look at some of our most precious commodities, and we can never, ever get it back. Time is right up there. Well, we need oxygen, we need water, we need food, we need shelter, and we need to spend our time wisely. Time, it's always pushing forward, always moving, because we are bound by it. Bound by time, and yet we waste it. And as I said in the beginning, we either spend it, and I'm assuming that's of something of value, enhancing your skills, or growing emotionally, or growing spiritually, getting closer to your Creator, spending time worrying about what you're going to do with your present time so that your future can look the way you want it to look. Now, I've written about time and some of the breakdowns of time. And one of the things I like to look at our earning years. Okay, you have like a preseason from the time you're born into the time about 25, and normally that's when people get out of college. And then you have your first quarter, 25 to 35. And you have your second quarter, 35 to 45. You have your third quarter, 45 to 55. And then you have the fourth quarter, 55 to 65. And if you're still working and you still have to grind after 65, that's overtime. And that is the game of life when it comes to time and finance. But let me focus on time. How are you spending your time? How are you wasting your time? How are you robbed of time? See, spending your time and spending it wisely could be a matter of improving, a matter of heading towards your goal. Taking each and every day, and you ask yourself, and you slow down just for a second and ask yourself, am I moving in a direction of my goal? Am I doing something that gets me closer to my goal? If I look at how I spent yesterday, did it help me get closer to what I want to achieve and what I want to accomplish? It's not always about some lofty, rich goal. It's not always about materialism. It could be anything that you actually want to accomplish. Did you spend any time dedicating yourself, dedicating this time, the same time you can't get back once it is gone? Did you spend any time towards achieving your ultimate goal? That's what I mean by spending time. We spend it. Let's talk a little bit about how we waste it. Sitting on the couch, arguing and debating over trivial things that mean very little. We're in a on-demand society. All our programming, our television shows, they're on demand. You have your Apple TV and your Fire Sticks and so on and so forth. And now you can watch all the shows you want on demand, and people have this new thing, it's binge watching. But there's no binge learning. There's no binge growing, is it? Are there? Is it? Are we doing that? Not many. Not many. See, I say time is the great equalizer because it really comes down to how you spend it. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how are you going to spend it? We waste it over trivial things. And that's a precious second that we cannot get back. That's a precious minute that we cannot get back. Hour, day, week, month. 32,850. And that's if we're lucky. And then you have a lot of X factors out there. So let me tell you a little bit about how we are robbed of it. You take that 32,850 days, which equals about 90 years old, and you look at accidents that could happen. Just an accident, can't control that, but you can be robbed of your time, your life be cut short. What about the things that we do, the things that we consume, the places that we live? Okay, how about if you live in an impoverished nation or you live in an extremely violent neighborhood? Your life could be cut short. You don't have to look far. You just look at the news clippings, look at all the tragedies and atrocities that are all around us. You can see it, you can feel it. It's so thick you can cut it with a knife. How about what we consume? Genetically modified food? Or are we eating organic? Or are we monitoring what we put in our bodies? Our supplementation, what we eat, what we drink, loaded with sugars and things we can hardly even pronounce. That's how it's robbed from us. Smoking, drinking, disease, crime. I think you get the picture. And as I said before, we are either spending it wisely, spending it in such a way that when that moment is gone, it mattered, or we waste it, or it is robbed from it. How are you going to spend your time? What are you going to do? Are you going to start looking at this sort of like a currency? But the value is infinite. What do you do every day? Not to mention the amount of time we spend sleeping. Now, don't get me wrong, we all need to sleep. So the question is, what are you doing in your waking hours? That's the question. What are you doing in your waking hours? How are you spending your time? See, you have no time to be jealous of someone else. You have no time to be envious of someone else. You have no time to be mad at someone else. You have no time to compare yourself to someone else. Do you know how much value you are giving away when you spend so much time focused on others, that rather than focusing on your life and what it is that you want to come to pass in your life? Each day counts. Each moment counts. Each year counts. It all counts. Time counts. What will you do with it? Each moment counts.